we turn now to the incredible story of the astronomical rise and epic unraveling of the communal workspace company WeWork, along with its charismatic founder and former CEO Adam Neumann. The company was one of the hottest startups in history. Then it plunged from nearly $50 billion in value to basically worthless in just 6 weeks. Joining us tonight are Wall Street Journal reporters Eliot and Maureen Farrell, authors of the just-released book, The Cult of WeWork, Adam Neumann, and the Great Startup Delusion. Thank you both for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you
for having us.
So the company WeWork provides office space to remote workers and businesses, but at its height, it professed to be so much more. And with the support of investors and venture capitalists, it was once valued at $47 billion. What was the appeal before things went so sideways?
I'll start. It had the CEO just had this magic quality of being able to, I like to say he taught investors to look at a pigeon and see a swan. And he had a real estate company, but was able to, what was very clearly an office space leasing company, but he was able to convince the investment world and some smart names there that it was a disruptive tech company that should be considered like Uber and Airbnb. But you know, that makes it an extremely different and less valuable company if it's a real estate business as opposed to a tech business.
Look at a pigeon, but see a swan. Love that analogy there. Maureen, next one for you. You've talked about WeWork being an example of too much money and no guardrails. Can you explain that?
Sure. So there's this system. There was so much private capital out there that was, being the types that's in your retirement funds, like at Fidelity and T. Rowe Price. They were suddenly getting into this private market game, putting money in, searching for the next Facebook or Google. So Adam Neumann, part of his mastery at fundraising was really convincing people that he was going to build this next giant tech company. So investors were racing to give him money. I mean, he ultimately raised more than $10 billion. And investors were so scared. I mean, we talk a lot in the book about FOMO, the fear of missing out. He would just tell them, if you want to put, if you don't want to let me take money out of the company in this round and sell shares, then you can't be in the round. It's fine. I have plenty of people waiting to put money in. Every step of the way, that was part of his fundraising, and it kept guardrails from ever coming up.
But it worked for a short amount of time, I guess, in the long run. You guys also write a lot about Adam Neumann's excessive over-the-top lifestyle. What were some examples of that?
He would have this lifestyle where he had 8 homes, he and his wife did. The summer before everything fell apart, they also rented 3 other additional Airbnbs in the Hamptons where their staff stayed. They had this entourage that included a surf coach, the surf coach's family, the surf coach's nannies, the hairdresser. So there's a lot that way. And they, he loved private jets. He loved surfing. He would go to the Maldives. There were yachts. So they were not there was not a lack of spending in his life.
And Maureen, what can we learn from what happened with WeWork with regard to startups and the cult of personality, people like Elizabeth Holmes and Adam Neumann, people who are built up to be something that they may not be?
Basically, there is this cult around founders, and it makes investors and so many other people who should really be advisors to these people instead just let them have an incredibly long leash. It's almost like sanctioned recklessness. So I think there just has to be, red flags are red flags. If a founder takes out money out of the company when other investors can't, sell shares, is buying homes like this. And there are other corporate governance practices that, their red flags are red flags. And I think investors in both of these companies were willing to overlook them for the promises that these people made.
And Eliot, last one for you. Adam Neumann is no longer in charge. WeWork is hoping now for a second act. What does that look like? And what's the lasting impact of this company on the real estate industry?
Yeah, so after everything sort of fell apart in 2019, they were left with a lot less value, but they did have a lot of office space. So now, because of the pandemic, they have a lot of empty office space. But, their hope is that as everyone goes back to the office, the world will sort of shift to this type of office space they offer, which is, and it's a little boring, but it's flexible. So you sign a 1-year lease or a month lease instead of a 10-year lease. And the hope is that a lot of companies will want that because who knows what's happening post-pandemic.
Eliot Brown, Maureen Farrell, we thank you so much for your time. The Cult of We is available wherever books are sold.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.